The pressure is on to save a dying explorer. The Hubble Space Telescope.
It's the most productive science instrument that's ever been made.
But can Hubble be saved?
We're changing an electronics card out. We've never done that on orbit.
It will take a massive effort by a cast of thousands, and NOVA is there each step of the way.
Looks like the teeth are rounded out.
So the screw is stripped?
It went miserably.
Despite years of preparation, there's no guarantee things will work in space.
We get one shot.
Things will go wrong on orbit. They always do.
7 astronauts put their lives on the line.
Crew members are an hour and a half behind at this point.
If we are stopped here, it's over.
It was unthinkable. I was ready to wake up from the nightmare.
Up next on NOVA, Hubble's amazing rescue.
By the following.
I've been growing algae for 35 years. Most people try to get rid of algae, and we're trying to grow it. The algae are very beautiful. They come in blue or red, golden, green. Algae could be converted into biofuels that we could someday run our cars on. And using algae to form biofuels, we're not competing with the food supply. And they absorb CO2, so they help solve the greenhouse problem as well. We're making a big commitment to finding out just how much algae can help to meet the fuel demands of the world.
And by Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed, offering insurance, annuities, and investments. And David H. Koch. And
discovering new knowledge. HHMI.
And by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and viewers like you. Thank you.
A daring mission is about to begin. The final repair of the Hubble Space Telescope. It's a mission so dangerous that for years NASA refused even to attempt it.
We've had accidents and we've stopped flying shuttles for a very long time.
You do your best and you hope for the best, but there are certain risks that remain on the table and you have to step up to the plate.
Risk is something that we think about and that we talk about, but I believe in this program.
All crew members on board.
To fix Hubble, 7 astronauts will spend 2 weeks in a vacuum full of extreme temperatures and deadly radiation. Yet the greatest risk comes not from being in space, but from the vehicle that takes them there, the shuttle.
7, 6, 5, 4, 0, ignition, liftoff.
When the shuttle lifts off from the pad, it's burning about 11,000 pounds of propellant per second. There are indescribable forces going on. You're a meteorite with people in it.
The risk of dying is 1 in 70. I mean, it's incredible. These are very brave people.
So I think each individual astronaut has to ask themselves the question, is this risk worth it?
Traveling 1,500 miles per hour.
The object of all this risk circles 350 miles above our planet. The Hubble Space Telescope. The size of a school bus, weighing 12 tons, Hubble is the best-known scientific instrument in history. It has revolutionized astronomy and brought us unprecedented views of the universe. Huge pillars of dust and hydrogen gas. Inside these clouds, new stars are being born. A very long exposure of a tiny dark spot in the sky that appeared almost empty. Instead, astronomers found thousands of galaxies, each with billions of stars. Hubble is a time machine, showing us how our universe looked 13 billion years ago. It has brought new insights into how planets are born, how stars die, massive black holes where gravity is so strong even light itself cannot escape, and how a mysterious dark energy seems to be accelerating the expansion of the universe.
20 years ago, before the Hubble flew, we didn't know how big the universe was, how old it was. Because of Hubble, now we do. We didn't know that black holes really existed. Because of Hubble, we now know that black holes are everywhere. The Hubble telescope was the first telescope to actually examine the composition of a world around another star. Without the Hubble, none of those things would have happened.
But now, Hubble is failing. Half its science instruments, including the camera that took these pictures, are already dead. Like a patient requiring multiple transplants, the telescope needs an enormous amount of work. Remove an old camera, install a new one. Swap out gyroscopes. Remove old optics, install a new spectrograph. And lots more.
Approaching staging the burnout of the twin solid rocket boosters, which have been burning fuel at a rate of about 11,000 pounds per second.
The only hope to save Hubble is this mission. Once in orbit, it will take Atlantis 2 days to catch up to Hubble.
Megan MacArthur now repositioning the shuttle's robotic arm to align with the telescope.
On day 3, robotic arm operator Megan MacArthur gently grabs the telescope and lowers it into the shuttle's payload bay.
Houston, Atlantis. Hubble has arrived on board Atlantis.
The next day, the repairs will begin.
We're in the middeck of Space Shuttle Atlantis. My buddy John Grunsfeld over here.
And our spacesuits are here, and we're getting ready to go outside.
The work will take 5 days, 5 spacewalks. But this mission has been years in the making. The preparation began long ago. It's 2006 when the astronauts are selected. Scott Altman, commander. Greg Johnson, pilot. Megan MacArthur, robotic arm operator. And 4 astronauts who will go outside and do the repairs, the spacewalkers. They'll spend 2.5 years getting ready, but they won't be doing it alone. To pull off a space mission takes a cast of thousands. Engineers, technicians and planners, instructors, all helping 7 people prepare for the most important mission of their lives.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Where's that kind of weird?
Success or failure will all come down to those spacewalks. Just 6.5 hours each.
Well, that's not a lot of time. It has to all go perfectly to make that 6 hours and 30 minutes. That's the prime reason why we train some more, and we have to really know our stuff.
Lead spacewalker on the mission is John Grunsfeld. He's been to Hubble twice before. John's partner is Drew Feustel. This will be his first flight.
We kind of operate on a buddy system. One person does the work, another person's handing off tools, providing support.
Okay, the first guide roller's in, second guide roller's in, I gotta back out.
Today they're in Houston, learning to replace one of Hubble's cameras, called Wide Field. The Wide Field camera has captured many of Hubble's best-known images. Like all instruments on Hubble, it's huge, the size of a piano, and it weighs 800 pounds.
Okay, playtime.
John, are you ready?
I'm ready.
To practice moving this massive object in zero gravity,
right.
Drew and John are using a trainer that suspends the camera as if it were weightless, so they can learn how it feels to push and steer it.
Okay, keep coming in. Bring your end down just slightly. It's very hard to get a feel for the moments of inertia and the mass, not in terms of having to lift it, but in terms of once you get it started, what does it take to stop it? What does it take to reorient it?
Even weightless objects still have mass. In space, an astronaut pushes a golf ball, it moves. But if he pushes a piano, he'll move in the opposite direction. Piano, astronaut, and golf ball are all weightless, but each has different mass and inertia.
You gotta be careful you don't get in trouble.
Astronaut Story Musgrave did 3 spacewalks on the very first Hubble repair mission in 1993.
If I'm trying to push this object, and I get this object moving. Okay, it's moving, but now it starts to pull me. Have I planned to have something to stop me from going that way? And if I have not, I'm gone.
It keeps touching down.
Seems like it's still falling on its own.
But here on solid ground, this trainer only gives them one small part of the feel of working in space. So how do they practice spacewalking when there's no place on Earth to experience the bizarre condition of weightlessness?
You know, it's hard. You know, if you're going to play a baseball game, you can go out to the field and take batting practice with a baseball and your uniform and a bat. But to go to space, you show up for the World Series without practicing on the field, so to speak. So you got to get all your practice in other places.
The best place to practice spacewalking is in Houston, Texas. The Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory. 200 feet long, 100 feet wide, 40 feet deep, 6 million gallons of water. Able to hold a life-size mock-up of Hubble, it's staffed by scores of safety divers, suit technicians, riggers, and crane operators. If you want to learn spacewalking, this is the place to be.
Neutral Buoyancy Lab is a fancy name for a big giant pool. It's like a lake, it's big, and we can fit a whole space shuttle in there, plus a whole space station. It's huge.
Mike Massimino leads the second spacewalk team. He worked on Hubble in 2002. Massimino's partner is first-time flyer Mike Good. Today, Massimino and Good are learning how to replace 3 units containing gyroscopes. Gyros help point the telescope. Changing them is tricky.
Where these gyros live in the telescope is a very tight spot. You know, it's like working on your car and you're trying to get at bolts that are just hard to reach and hard to get to.
Learning how to do the gyros, or any job on Hubble, starts with learning how to work in a spacesuit.
It's not like you're in your regular clothes. You know, if you're going to go run a mile, you don't put on one of these spacesuits. You know, baseball players don't wear this stuff neither.
The suits weigh over 300 pounds. On Earth, astronauts can't even stand up in them. But once in the water, everything changes. The suits are adjusted to be neutrally buoyant, neither rising nor sinking, just floating as if in space.
And that enables us to practice our spacewalking. We can egress the space shuttle and move along the handrails and work with the telescope. And it's very close to learning the body positioning and the skills you need to spacewalk.
But even this is still a far cry from true weightlessness.
Water is what we call neutral buoyancy. It is not zero G. When I'm in space, I float inside the suit. It floats, I float. When I go upside down in the water tank, I'm not floating in my suit. I got 170 pounds of bearing resting on my collarbone. That's not good.
In fact, doing anything in the heavy suit is hard, grueling work.
You can get tired. You're in the suit for about 8 hours. There's no food in there with you, so you have to have a good breakfast. You do have a drink bag, so you can drink water while you're doing this. But you really need to be in the best shape you can be in.
In stiff, pressurized gloves, it's roughest on the hands.
We've had astronauts losing fingernails, black and blue, and the fingernails fall off after a few days. The fact of the matter is the glove rules.
After 7 hours, the practice is over. Today, it took too long to get the work done.
All in all, it was a pretty good run, but we need to get better, and I think we will. I think next week we're going to run the same run again. I think we'll be better next week. I just tethered to it and I slid it, somehow jammed it inside.
Did you feel comfortable with that?
I mean, it was fine as long as it don't come off when I'm not looking.
Helping the spacewalkers get better and faster is the job of their instructors, Tomas Gonzalez and Christy Hansen.
The last 4 screws, and I already talked to them. We're their coaches, their teachers, their flight controllers, and their friends. and we write all of the procedures for the spacewalks.
Do I hand you a tool now? Do I hand you a tool later? Do I put it on the stanchion? Do I temp stow it?
I'm on my way to the aft fixture.
It's what they call choreography, and it's all about time.
We'll break torque on the A latch. I'm going to completely remove wide field from the W sight.
Okay.
And start maneuvering up to the installation position up at the telescope.
Okay. All of those things add up to seconds and minutes, and those minutes add up quickly to 10 to 15 to 30 minutes, and the choreography is what either makes you or breaks you.
3 pounds.
For the next 2 years, the choreography will be the center of their lives.
Did we change those?
No ballet is more exquisitely planned or painstakingly rehearsed. They'll write and rewrite the script, trying out ideas, debating what works best, changing, practicing again and again to the point of exhaustion. All with one goal: perfection. Days are long, tempers flare.
Shut that thing off.
But after 2 years, they've got a timeline that's as crisp, tight, and precise as they can make it. Yet despite all the preparation, no one can be certain how things will go when they get to Hubble.
Things will go wrong on orbit. They always do. You know, it's our preparation for those things that will allow us to do a good job.
It's day 4 on orbit. The first spacewalk is about to begin.
Drew, this is your first spacewalk. What do you feel? What do you think?
Excited.
Yeah, I can tell you, man. You're ready to go. You're going to do great.
I'm ready. Thanks, buddy.
Awesome, man. And John, this is like spacewalk number 714? 6. Okay, great.
Ready, Drew? Ready, John. Let's go do this. Oh, this is fantastic.
Drew and John's first task is the #1 science priority for the mission: install a much more powerful wide-field camera. They'll loosen one bolt, remove the old camera, insert the new camera, and retighten the bolt. It's one of the simplest jobs on the entire mission. But early on, there's a big problem. When Drew tries to loosen the bolt holding in the old camera, it refuses to budge. If Drew can't get this bolt loose, the first job on the first spacewalk will grind to a halt.
MTL is slipping.
The only people who can solve this are the ones outside with their hands on Hubble, John and Drew. Yet they're not alone. A spacewalker with a problem has a vast network supporting him. 5 astronauts inside the shuttle, Tomas Gonzalez and Christy Hansen in mission control. And behind them, engineers who know Hubble better than anyone else on the planet.
We know the telescope. We know what hardware is broken. We know what the interfaces are. We need a flathead screwdriver or a certain kind of wrench or whatever.
Now, as Drew struggles to loosen a stuck bolt, engineers call up all the information they have on that bolt, starting with its torque, the turning force needed to loosen it.
Every single screw is installed with a specific torque value, and there's paperwork that goes back that we can see what torque value was actually applied to that fastener.
To make sure Drew can't over-torque the bolt, his wrench has a torque limiter on it called the MTL. When it reaches the limit, the MTL will slip to protect the bolt from breaking.
Math, I put in 3 attempts, got 3 MTL slips, and see no motion in the latch bolt.
The only option now, get rid of the torque limiter.
Try it without an MTL at all. What are the implications if I over-torque and break the bolt? Sure you want to know.
If Drew breaks the bolt, the old instrument will never come out. Hubble will be stuck with an obsolete digital camera. The new state-of-the-art wide-field camera will return to Earth unused.
My heart was absolutely as low as it could be. The potential potential of Wide Field Camera 3 for discoveries, was slipping away.
All I could do was apply the best technique that I could.
Okay, here we go. I think I got it. It turned. It definitely turned.
Yes! Houston 3BA, we copied and saw that. That's great news.
My heart's still pounding.
Almost lost it. Almost lost it. There we go. And the Wide Field Planetary Camera 2 is clear of the structure of the telescope.
That's awesome news, man.
When you're cranking on a bolt, whether it's in your garage or in space, it's either going to break or it's going to come loose.
In the end, John and Drew get the powerful new camera installed. But the close call was almost a tragic loss for science.
Good morning, Atlantis, and a special good morning to you today, Mike Good.
The next day, spacewalk number 2. Mike Massimino and Mike Good have the awkward task of replacing the difficult-to-reach gyros.
I'm ready to maneuver.
Copy, RSU-3 RNR.
The first replacement goes without a hitch, but they have trouble getting the second and third units to fit.
Crew members are an hour and a half behind the timeline at this point.
They have to get those gyros in. There's no way to point the Hubble without them.
But what was scaring me there with the gyros, if we didn't get them changed out, the telescope won't work.
Eventually, they get the third unit replaced.
We've got all 3 units installed, and which is exactly where we want it to be.
No one's sure why the new gyros didn't fit. They're manufactured to precise tolerances. But it's not the first time that a tiny fraction of an inch has meant the difference between life and death for the Hubble Space Telescope. In 1990, when Hubble was launched, astronomers discovered it was out of focus. The mirror was off by 1/50th the thickness of a sheet of paper.
Hubble was trumped up. It was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And within a few months, we suddenly became a huge joke in America. There were cartoons with Mr. Magoo as the true inventor of the Hubble Space Telescope.
In 1993, astronauts went to Hubble and installed corrective optics to compensate for the mirror problem. After the first repair, Hubble began to realize its potential. Astronauts serviced it again in 1997, 1999, 2002, and the discoveries just kept coming.
The astronauts have been back now 4 times, and this has given Hubble its unique power compared to any other telescope in history.
A 5th servicing mission was in the works. But after the 2003 Columbia disaster, NASA Administrator Sean O'Keefe canceled it as too risky. Hubble would be allowed to die.
There was this uproar from the public, not just the astronomy community. I mean, school kids wrote into NASA, sending in their school money to have it serviced.
Then in April 2005, NASA gets a new administrator who's determined to revive Hubble, Michael Griffin.
I'm an engineer. Okay, I understand what the risks are. How do I change not safe into safe? And so we looked at that.
The danger with Hubble is its orbit. All other missions go to the International Space Station. If one of those shuttles got damaged, astronauts could wait at the station for rescue.
For Hubble, you don't have that. We can't get to the space station. We're in a different orbit and a different altitude.
The only way to rescue astronauts stranded at Hubble would be to have a second shuttle ready to launch at a moment's notice, something NASA isn't sure can be done.
The launch teams have to be able to process 2 vehicles. It's not a trivial matter.
After 18 months of hard study, in October 2006, Mike Griffin announces his decision.
We are going to add a shuttle servicing mission to the Hubble Space Telescope.
But the rescue plan is a hair-raising scenario. If Atlantis is damaged on the way to Hubble, a second shuttle, Endeavour, will follow. Using its robotic arm, Endeavour grabs a hold of Atlantis. Once the two shuttles are in position, the Atlantis astronauts pull themselves along a rope to Endeavour, which brings everyone home. It's never been done, and no one's sure it could work.
Now, not every answer is perfect, but it's a road that I feel comfortable we could go down and it would give me an out.
It's October 2006 when the mission is revived. A costly delay. 3 out of 6 gyros have died. Batteries are getting old. And 2 science instruments have stopped working. One, a spectrograph called STIS, which splits light like a prism. STIS had been learning the chemical makeup of atmospheres of planets far beyond our solar system. And the other, the advanced camera for surveys, which had been taking 70% of Hubble's images. Half of Hubble's science instruments dead.
It's like a symphony. Suddenly the woodwinds drop out. The music's still beautiful, but it's not as full or as complete as it would have been if that other piece had been there.
Normally, astronauts would install new instruments.
Generally what we do is we come up with a whole replacement for an instrument or for a piece of equipment. And even if something little is wrong with it, you don't mess with it usually. You just pull it out, put the whole new one in.
But no replacements exist. It would take too long to design and build them. The only hope is to try repairs in space, something no one's ever done before. The spectrograph repair involves removing 117 tiny screws, then a cover, then replacing an electronic circuit board.
At first it sounded like this would be impossible.
So how do you remove 117 tiny screws that are weightless while wearing clumsy gloves and guarantee that not one floats into the telescope? You start by going to the Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland, home of some of the best engineers in the world. Goddard engineers monitor and control Hubble 24/7. In the world's largest clean room, they test and maintain all the new parts and instruments waiting to go to the telescope. And they create remarkable new tools to fix Hubble. It's one of those tools they hope will make the spectrograph repair possible by containing all the loose screws. The fastener capture plate.
Which is basically a panel that has holes in it that you can put a screwdriver through.
But small enough so that nothing will come out.
And as a result, we can remove all those screws, they'll float around, but we won't lose any, and then we can take the cover plate off.
The fastener capture plate will attach to the spectrograph cover. As screws are removed, they'll float between the tool and the cover. When the tool is pulled off, the cover comes with it, with the screws trapped inside. But they'll still need a tool to undo all those tiny screws in the first place. The standard for turning bolts is the pistol grip tool. Used on every Hubble mission, it's a power tool and a computer. It counts turns and remembers how much torque was used, preserving a record of every spacewalk for future reference. But it's the opposite of what they need for the spectrograph repair. Strong, slow, and bulky.
You've got the computer sitting on top of the tool. You can't see what's in front of the tool. We needed something that could actuate those tiny screws quickly and delicately. And that's what led from the pistol grip tool to the birth of the mini power tool. How do we maximize the visibility of our work site? We want the astronaut to be able to put that tool up on the screw and clearly see a bit going into that screw to know that he's in the right spot. And it just logically followed that, hey, why don't we just put a headlight on the front of that?
The Mini Power Tool is just one of over 100 new tools that Goddard engineers will design for this flight. To find out how they'll perform in space, they're tested at the pool. The team begins arriving at dawn. Some of the Goddard engineers will dive so they can study their tools in action. Today they'll practice the spectrograph repair. It's not only spacewalkers who practice. This is a full dress rehearsal for the entire team.
It's a little tilted, but...
Spacewalkers are in the pool. Everyone else is up in the control room.
I'm going to go low and get off the arm.
Okay, you don't need me to move the arm, Roger. I'm standing by.
Tension off of it like that.
In the front row, astronauts. For the real mission, they'll be inside the shuttle, operating the robotic arm and helping the spacewalkers.
So this would be a 135 right type of thing.
Next to them, instructors Tomas and Christy.
I think we're okay without it.
During the actual flight, Tomas will be the astronaut's point of contact in mission control. Christy will be in a nearby support room backing him up. Behind them, the Goddard engineers. Today, they're taking notes on how their tools perform. For the real mission, they'll be in a Houston support room, standing by to problem solve.
Copy, 6 inches in.
As the practice repair begins, one of Massimino's first jobs is to remove a yellow handrail. Undo 4 bolts, and it's off. Next, he'll screw in 4 posts called guide studs, one at each corner. The fastener capture plate will mount onto these.
Why don't we try the other one?
Mass, is there a two-handed technique that you could try going in?
Something's wrong. The guide studs won't tighten properly.
It's not working today.
These same studs went in fine during this class the other day, so you think there's something different about this instrument in the water?
I don't know.
Does anybody know for the fastener capture plate to be seated properly, do we have to have all 4? 3?
I don't think we should spend any more time on guide studs.
I'm just worried the whole thing's going to fall apart when we start driving fasteners.
They're not sure why the studs aren't holding, and there's nothing they can do about it now. But in space, loose guide studs could stop the repair in its tracks.
Okay, so what are we going to do for today? What do you want to do with that?
You want to play like we're in space? We'll fix it.
Okay, tell you what, let's press on and then...
Continuing the job, Massimino installs the fastener capture plate anyway, knowing it's too loose. Then, another problem.
Well, you know, a light would be really good on this tool.
The light on Goddard's new Mini Power Tool won't turn on.
Well, it's not going quite as smoothly as I'd hoped. The tool, the light that we're going to be on it isn't working. There's going to be a big debrief to discuss that, but it's not working as well as we had hoped.
For now, a support diver will hold a flashlight. But there won't be any support divers in space. Inside the dark telescope, Massimino will need this light, and he's not shy about reminding the engineers.
If I can get a light on 813, I bet I could see it. That's where the light may help us. Well, you know, a light would be really good on this tool. Am I making myself clear about the value of the light?
Hey, Mouse, do you think a light would help?
Yeah, you want to make that comment? Stop there. Stop.
Motion stopped.
When Massimino finally gets the fastener capture plate off and hands it to Mike Good, the bad news continues.
We're losing screws out of this fastener capture plate.
In space, even one screw floating into Hubble could trash the telescope forever.
It gets frustrating, you see, if things don't go well and we're stressed out and the noise levels get high, and then you start to question yourself, am I not doing it right?
Just about everything that could go wrong on the spectrograph repair did so.
The way I see it is a list of things you can screw up. And what you want to do is screw up, check off as many of that list as you can on the ground, so when you get to space, there's only a couple of them left.
For the mini power tool, I think Mike missed the lights today, but I wasn't quite sure. So sorry.
Don't beat on pushing.
Is there any way we can get the LEDs fixed on the mini power tool for Thursday?
Possibly you could replace the switch, so we're going to take a shot at that and see if that'll work.
You know, we've spent all this time and money and effort to do this, but if I can't see the fastener, it don't matter because it ain't going to work. So my point is out of all the stuff we're doing, the thing I really need is a light so I can see what's going on. And if I can't, all this other work you're doing doesn't matter because I won't be able to undo the screw.
7 months until launch. It's been a long week.
Have a good weekend.
But the Goddard engineers don't get a break. They'll spend the weekend trying to fix the mini power tool.
So the stress is high to get the tools modified and maximize the efficiency for these runs. So yeah, the team's pushing, they're pushing the limit a little bit.
The next week, it's John's turn, the repair of the advanced camera, which had been taking most of Hubble's images. Just like the spectrograph, fixing the advanced camera entails installing a fastener capture plate and removing tiny screws, then a cover, then replacing circuit boards. The camera has fewer screws, only 32, but they're much harder to reach.
Because of the bulk of the spacesuit, I can't get in far enough really to see them straight on. So I'm going to be kind of working around a corner with a screwdriver. Okay, I have the fastener capture plate.
The Goddard engineers have fixed the light on the mini power tool. But ironically, the light itself now causes a new problem.
The reflection of the tool on the plastic is making it so I can't see if I'm in the screw head. Yeah, it's just, looks like the teeth are rounded out.
So the screw is stripped?
Yeah.
Okay.
A stripped screw. In space, this would be a huge problem, possibly ending the repair. Another frustrating run is over. It's still not clear if these ambitious repairs are even possible.
A little tiring, but the run came and went, you know. It went miserably. We had all kinds of problems. The little crosses in the Phillips head and the torque set stripped out. And, you know, that's one of those disaster scenarios where then we're not going to get the cover plate off. So my confidence in this task is probably at its all-time low right now. But that's the way it goes.
If these repairs are going to succeed, the tools will have to work flawlessly, and the astronauts will have to practice all the little physical movements until they become second nature.
Yeah. You have to train the body how to do it. The mind alone is not enough. The body has got to know how to do that job.
Like my hands are so sore, it's like, ah!
7 months until launch. Every chance they get, the astronauts practice the STIS spectrograph and advanced camera repairs. Training fingers, eyes, muscles, memorizing the delicate touch they'll need to manipulate tiny screws.
I'm missing a hole.
The engineers race to perfect the tools, repairing, testing, redesigning.
It just wouldn't torque.
No one has ever done repairs like this in space, and no one's sure they'll work.
This mission is one of the most complex they've ever undertaken. Changing the instruments, I think, all the astronauts can do, but to actually have to repair the STIS spectrograph and the advanced camera, that's going to be very challenging.
Good morning, Atlantis. And a special good morning to you today, John.
It's now day 6 of the mission. Spacewalk number 3 is about to begin.
It's been a day of surprises each day.
We're prepared for the unexpected.
So far, the unexpected has been the norm. They've had 2 difficult spacewalks. Plagued by a stuck bolt on number 1 and troublesome gyros on number 2, both ran long.
In baseball terms, you had 2 drag-out, long, extra-inning games. You know, you're a little worried, you got behind, you know, things weren't working out great. And so what you really like is a nice, easy win.
But an easy win today is not likely. Spacewalk number 3 includes the hardest job of the entire mission: repairing the advanced camera.
How tired are we now? You know, how beat are we? This has already been a struggle. In ACS on day 3, I felt like, did we have enough practice at this one?
The second and final planned task for this spacewalk.
Now, the task that's been the focus of John's life for months: the advanced camera.
3 hours, 28 minutes into the spacewalk, a very intricate procedure to swap out some electrical cards.
I floated up to kind of see what my workspace looked like, and immediately it didn't look like the Goddard simulator or the NBL, because there was a black composite strut that was blocking the access to this electronics box, and I just thought, this is going to be a big problem.
If anything interferes with those circuit cards coming out, the repair will be over before it starts.
The fastener capture plate will be next from you.
But first, John has to remove those 32 screws. That goes well.
The fastener capture plate now removed, having done its job of capturing the 32 tiny screws.
So far, so good. Not one screw stripped or lost. Now, the moment of truth. Pulling out the cards.
Card 1 is out. Nice. Oh, that's unbelievable.
You guys are at least 40 minutes ahead on the timeline here.
Nice. I heard that.
There was that moment where the last connection was made. It was sort of like a magic trick. You know, click and poof, it's done.
There's a video of John flying through the hatch. You know, it's just the hugest smile on his face.
A task that we thought would take 2 days to get done actually got done in 1 spacewalk, and our shortest one to date.
We needed that shot in the arm.
The Goddard engineers who designed the tools and planned the repair are ecstatic.
It was a good one today.
No issues, ahead of the timeline, went smooth, just like they practiced it.
The next day, it's Mike Massimino's turn, trying to repair the STIS spectrograph. He'll have to install the fastener capture plate, remove over 100 tiny screws, take off the plate, then replace an electronics card. But before he can get started, first he has to remove a handrail that's in the way. 4 bolts and it pops off. He's practiced it scores of times.
That handrail is obstructing the attachment of the fastener capture plate.
This initial task, the one that had been almost trivial in every prep, zip, 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 one of the bolts was completely messed up.
The power tool spins and nothing happens. The head of the last bolt is stripped. It's not coming out. This isn't one of the 100+ tiny screws. It's a large, accessible bolt. In years of practice, it's never been a problem before. But now, they can't continue. The entire repair depends on getting that handrail off.
If we are stopped here, it's over.
Mike Massimino has spent 2 years of his life preparing for this repair. Now, it's all going down the drain.
It was unthinkable. I could not believe what was happening. I was ready to wake up from the nightmare. I was praying that I had imagined this whole thing happening.
That darn handrail.
The atmosphere in the cabin was really getting gloomy for us, and I know it was getting gloomy for him out there.
Now we're at 3+ hours at this point, which is quite late, because the handrail is really the start of the task, not the end. We could come up with problems all the way through.
The Goddard engineers are brainstorming, trying frantically to come up with a workaround.
We have a database of 170,000 photos we can tap into.
In the meantime, Mission Control orders Massimino to go fetch backup tools.
I'm just worried about if we can't get this thing
Anything and everything that might come in handy.
The vice grips, we think that'd be useful.
And they started mentioning these tools I'd never heard, and Mass was going to get them, and I was like, a tape dispenser? I was like, wow, I didn't even get that.
They were making me get a vice grip, and they were making me get tape. I couldn't believe they were going to get tape. Because what are we going to use the tape for? What about staples and paper clips? You want me to get those too? We got those. It's like I was going to the stationery store.
To retrieve the tools, Massimino has to go all the way forward. They're stored just outside the cabin window where Drew is watching.
I could see his face, and I could see that he was just about as low as he could get.
And neither of us, I think, wanted to say anything out loud so people would hear us, but we could see each other very clearly.
Immediately, I started smiling and looking back at him saying, it's going to be okay.
He might have been lying, I don't know. But he was just smiling and giving me a thumbs up. He goes, "What are you worried about? It's going to be fine." He's looking down at me in the window. We're going to be fine. We're going to be okay. It's okay. We're going to be all right. We can get through this.
While Massimino gathers backup tools, down on the ground, the Goddard engineers have a radical idea. What about breaking the handrail?
That's not something we do in space. We just don't break things off. There's all sorts of hazards to this, cut edges, and the handle goes flying. I mean, you just do the math. It's all fraught with danger.
But could Massimino do it? Goddard engineers quickly perform a test, documented on a cell phone. The test shows how dangerous it could be, but it is doable.
Once I heard that, I knew that I could do, So I liked that idea.
It was like, oh yeah, that's the easy answer. Just get back there and rip that thing off, and let's get on with it.
But will the handrail snap back and shatter Massimino's faceplate, or tear open his suit?
Houston, you ready for this? Yeah, we're ready. Okay, Mass, you have a go. Here we go.
I was so grateful that the handrail came off. I felt like I was back in control. That it didn't matter what else would happen after that. We were going to get the thing fixed.
Disposal bag, please.
The handrail was the mountain.
Okay.
With the mountain out of the way, the repair of the spectrograph is back on track. It ends up going 8 hours and 2 minutes, one of the longest spacewalks in NASA history. But they get the job done. The next day, John and Drew finish the remaining tasks of the mission.
The final spacewalk to service the Hubble Space Telescope is complete.
Before John comes in for the last time, he has one more item on his personal checklist.
I grabbed the handrail and then let go and gave Hubble a little tap and a salute, and internally said goodbye to Hubble.
We're stalling -0.
The day after the final spacewalk, Hubble is released back into its own orbit.
Flight controllers off.
It's the last time humans will ever touch or see this magnificent telescope.
What were you thinking when you patted Hubble goodbye?
Happy voyages. I hope everything that we did worked.
It will be months before anyone knows if it did. The new instruments must get acclimated to the conditions of space. Whatever the outcome, this mission has set a new precedent for the kind of work possible on spacewalks.
They've pulled out boards, replaced boards, struggled with, handles that wouldn't come off, and improvised. I mean, I think we have raised the bar enormously, because suddenly you can see what humans can do in space.
As Hubble begins the final leg of its journey, the world waits for the results of the repairs. And no one is more anxious than the team responsible. In September, the answer comes. Stunning new images. Taken by the new wide-field camera, what masquerades as a beautiful butterfly is actually the violent fury of a dying star. The wings are gas streaming out at 500,000 miles an hour. Another image shows a distant cluster of stars. The new camera reveals it as 100,000 suns. Different colors show their temperatures and ages. Still another captures a cloud of dust and gas, hiding fledgling stars within it. When the same camera shifts to infrared, the infant stars are revealed. Never before has a single instrument been able to detect such a broad range of starlight. The stunning new camera, a spectrograph 10 times more sensitive than any before, and 2 dead instruments revived. Hubble is reborn.
It's been a stunning success. We've now got 2 new instruments, 2 repaired instruments, new batteries, new thermal blankets, new gyros, new guidance sensors. We have a new telescope.
As scientists begin their work, the servicing team moves on. The engineers and astronauts who saved Hubble will now become, like the rest of us, mere spectators, awed and moved by the wonders Hubble reveals.
You don't have to be a hardcore astronomer to appreciate what the telescope does. And whether it's in the form of a calendar or a book cover or a picture someone might see on someone's wall, it brings those images to everybody.
It's phenomenal that we have a tool in our lifetime, only 400 years after the first astronomical use of the telescope, that we're answering all these questions and discovering all these new things.
And I think there will be a moment 20 years from now, looking back and thinking, we really did that. And these things that we've learned are because the team across the country, everyone that became our extended family, made it happen. And I think I'll enjoy that.
On Nova's Hubble's Amazing Rescue website, follow producer Rush Denoyer's dispatches about the repair as it was happening. See a Q&A with 2 of the Hubble astronauts, and more. Find it on pbs.org.
They've got stamina, speed, and smarts.
Monitor lizards are lizards with an attitude.
They're even solar-powered. Behind the rough exterior is a side to lizards you never knew.
They are smart.
Roger. You can definitely see that intelligence in his eyes.
Oh, we got a big one.
Nova's cameras get new insights into the secret lives of the Lizard Kings. Next time on Nova.
Major funding for Nova is provided by the following.
Natural gas is a cleaner burning fuel, yet a lot of natural gas has impurities like CO2 in it. Controlled freeze zone is a new technology being developed by ExxonMobil to remove the CO2 from the natural gas so we can safely store it where it won't get into the atmosphere. ExxonMobil is spending more than $100 million to build a plant that will demonstrate this process. I'm very optimistic about it because this technology could be used to reduce greenhouse gas emissions significantly.
Retirement. It may be a long way off, or another adventure waiting just ahead. Pacific Life can help provide a dependable income you can enjoy for the rest of your life. Because retirement could be a very long ride. Your financial professional can tell you more about Pacific Life. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
And David H. Koch. And
discovering new knowledge. HHMI.
And by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and viewers like you. Thank you.